Welcome, Virgo singles. I'm going to do the 4 pillars read for May here, up close and personal. Hopefully I want you to be able to see all right. Pre-shuffled. Put a little energy on them here. So I think it's a little different singles read. This is to pick up your soulmate, try to see who they are. We're going to look at the 4 pillars of a relationship, their intellectual nature, emotional nature, their sexual love nature, and core values and lifestyle nature here. So I ask you to be open to anyone. This is a good one where you're totally single, super single, because we want to clear a runway at the airport and bring down your soulmate. Who's been circling forever because they couldn't land because the airport is always busy with whoever else was in our life. But now this is for Virgo. It's at the point where they're opening that runway. The soulmate's going to come down, and now we're going to take a look at the person's that's right for you. They're not the next ex-problem, next ex-wife, next ex-husband, but the one that's going to be right for you here, guys. And here we go. This is their emotional nature. Page of Swords and the Ten of Swords. Wow. Two of Pentacles, the intellectual nature, and the Moon. Okay, stop there and look at what we have. This pretty complex person. See this more kind of like their conscious expression, but this is the unconscious feelings, the intellect, conscious. What's more visible here and what's underneath. And boy, underneath with the Ten of Swords and the Moon. So, and I try to look at what stories they might tell you. So they had a tough childhood. You know, with this Page of Swords, you see someone who's very sincere. Emotionally sincere. I think they might actually be kind of timid. And even with the Two of Pentacles and the Moon here and the intellect, they're really not someone who's going to talk a lot. I mean, if they're in a group, they just might not talk at all. With you, they're just going to be more of a listener and not a talker. But the Page of Swords and the Two of Pentacles here speaks to balance. This is their intellect. So it's not about them juggling anything, or they're juggling the energy of the mind. Page of Swords, and I would definitely look for an air moon. Gemini moon in their astrological chart. Gemini moon stands out. And Aquarius moon is very stable and detached. Could be because they put themselves back together after what would have been a very difficult childhood, where they may have felt alone. They could have been an only child, a middle child, lost in a crowd, a little bit like they couldn't speak up for themselves with the Ten of Swords. In childhood, just a feeling of being hopeless, which a lot of bad childhoods, it's what you have. What can you do when you're a child? You can't go away and get your own apartment. You can't really throw a punch. So it always speaks to what we do with our mind, our coping skills that are developed. The ego protects itself. And they may do something to keep themselves balanced. And I mean like meditating, especially with the Moon here. It's like they put effort, they use their mind, they successfully with the Two of Pentacles, they've going to tell you about what their process is. Because they have some kind of process. It could be a number of things. With the Pentacles, it implies something practical, like they know they need to work out every morning. They know they need to meditate and work out every morning. Could be very specific. They know they need to be in the water and swim. That's what they need. Like I used to sea kayak. It's the most amazing, liberating, and freeing thing. Something they might do that keeps them in balance. And with the moon here and the intellect and the Ten of Swords, they still may not have a real good understanding of what happened to them exactly. And it could be some kind of avoidance. I remember this is your person, and we're not here to pick them apart. Look at them that way. They're right for you. Maybe you, Virgo, or someone could help them get insight into that. But it, to me, too, implies they sort of don't want to see it with the moon and the Ten of Swords. It's like they really don't want to think about their situation. They were younger, or focus. And it's not even so much running away, because I see with the Two of Pentacles, it's like how they manage it. The way they manage it is they don't dwell on it to the point where maybe they're not the person that got a lot of therapy and spent, like me, many years of their life trying to figure out, get the license plate number of the truck that hit them in their childhood. You know, they moved on. The Page of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, could someone speak kind of a practical nature to them, something about their mind. You know, Mercury in Aquarius, Mercury in Cancer here, a moon in an air sign. So it enables them to do this, to move away. There may still be for them in life, what's life for, some process of understanding this they may go through. But it's like they have things kind of well in hand. But with this Two of Pentacles here, I see this kind of like the linchpin. Well, the Page of Swords is good. It's like Page of Swords, they have a natural ability with their mind to question maybe the right thing. Their mind, like I say, Aquarius Mercury, I've known is really a Mercury that's functional, you know, can just do whatever needs to be done, whatever's set before it. Because emotionally, it's the energy of being detached. It's sitting down saying, I have something to do here, and I'm not going to be thinking about my budget and my sex life and that Netflix series. You're just 100% focused on this task at hand. And mentally, these type people, just whatever the fuck needs to be figured out, they can. I got a Mercury in Sagittarius. Halfway through, I'm on a tangent, and God only knows where I end up. No, they're really focused. So they can accomplish with their mind what needs to be accomplished. They may even speak here too that they have, not super willpower, but they have good willpower. You know, they know they need to eat something, they're going to eat it. They need to exercise, they need to eat. They're going to brush their teeth because it's the right thing to do, you know. Probably tell you about their routines. It's something they'll share. Be very interested in you in that regard, what you're doing. I think you'll notice as you talk to them, they're just like self-contained and pleasant, not overly friendly, not overly available, not exactly reserved, but maybe a little reserved, We're going to look at their sexual nature, the Emperor, a Hermit, I mean, and Death. Wow, major arcanas in their sexual love nature. So, Virgo and Scorpio. Said to be an oddly good match. Astrology by Sun. But we may be looking then, trying to see if they could have a Virgo Venus and a Scorpio Mars. That's going to be tough. But Virgo Venus really stands out here. I even have the skull here. There's a theme. So it could be in the 8th house, that type of thing. Let's see what their lifestyle core values. 10 of Wands, Hierophant. Wow. So, to skip this extra moment, the 10 of Wands and the Hierophant here, this person used to carrying a heavy load. It's not hard for them. This is that balance, that ability they have. Like, I'll tell you this. Here's a story they're going to tell you. People come to work at them, come to them at work, whatever they do. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something intellectual. They have an ability, a good mind. They're not like a genius, but again, they have that mind. It can just, so they come to him. They could be in their life too, in their love life and their friends, but definitely I got the feeling like at work, and they just dump all this stuff on them, and they can take care of it. They just boom, 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 boom. This Hierophant. There's a solidness and a dedication, and maybe about them too a traditionalism. It's a little Virgo, wanting to do the work, being very strong and dedicated. They may even approach things. There may be a spiritual aspect to them that helps them keep things in balance. A belief system too that helps them. But they're the kind of person, like, they don't complain, they again, like, kind of like the Virgo, they work for the greater good. A Virgo into a company, and they're usually the best workers. They just get it done. They don't need a lot of pats on the back. They don't have a lot of ego. They don't cause problems. And they get it done. There's just a dedication about them. And in terms of a marriage too, I think it very much would be the same thing. They would see marriage as being, sacred. And that's kind of a conservative way about them. They probably love their country too. And two, this is the kind of person that might say to you, Virgo, there is literally nothing that I wouldn't do. Actions are wands are actions for you. I want to marry you, and there isn't anything I wouldn't do. And they aren't kidding, I think they have a great deal of strength here. But with the Hermit and Death, again, sex seems to be where, particularly if they haven't 100% resolved all of this, could be a little, because it's just love too, a little push-pull with them, a little reactive attachment issue, just with, come hither, whoa, 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 come hither, whoa, whoa, whoa. Little Catholic girl syndrome. And two, I think with the Hermit, maybe they need a little time first when they get to know someone. They're not going to be quick to jump into bed with anyone. But with the Death underneath, it implies that once the door is closed, and once they do decide, okay, you were probably dealing with some scorpionic sexual and love energy, which could be very obsessive, very dedicated, they're seeking, particularly here it's below in the unconscious here in the moon. Now I could see a little bit where they might project. They really, I'm a Venus and Scorpio, they want intimacy. It's really what they want. They want to, it's not really like Pisces, like they want to merge. It's like they want to consume you. And it can be dark. And it may feel to them a little dark, But, it's just going to be really hot. And you might have the feeling, too, with them, both in terms of the way they love you and the way that they make love, is almost like you feel really good, like you're the only member of a very exclusive club, and they make you feel like very special in that way, like you're the only one that gets in to their inner circle. It may take them some time before they start really going into their feelings here. And when they go into their feelings, they're going to talk about them. Like it's that Mercury and air where or even sometimes Earth is the same. It's like you really are better off just don't say how do you feel. They'll just look at you blankly, say what do you think about what happened between us last night, and you just have to kind of convert what they say into the language of emotions. Maybe against your person, no, it's perfect, you know. But they likely do work hard, and they like it. You know, the only downside I could see here is when they're in a relationship, they could do too much, and then not have enough for the relationship, and not in a bad way, not in a toxic way. It's just like if the church comes to them and says, "Man, no one else is baking this or willing to take the kids camping," and they just find that they feel like they have to do it, you know, and they can do it. They're capable. They're very energetic. They have the strength to do it. That's the only potential downside, and I think there's still things for them to learn about themselves. This could be a reading for a younger person that's pre 29, Saturn return age, pre-adult. But I like them. I get the feeling like they're going to be kind of Virgo looking, Virgo rising, like I am, kind of neat and trimmed and a little bit soft spoken when they speak. They're not going to ever like speak over anyone. They're going to be like patient with you when you speak. They're more interested in understanding than expressing themselves. And when they were young, they were cut off. They literally were told, shut up, maybe by siblings, by parents. You know, children are meant to be seen and not heard. They were discounted verbally. So I think this is a little bit too what they haven't. They don't understand how much that's affected them. And you know, I get the feeling too with them overall too. I had a friend like this. The reason why they do whatever anybody needs done is they just kind of don't feel good enough. That's part of too what they're not understanding. And they're like, you know, when the parents would reject them and ignore them and discount them, they would gather up all the dishes and go get the dishes, try to get their approval, see? And I don't get the sense that it worked, Ten of Swords, but it's just like it's their nature to do and to balance things. Very kind of Virgo-y. So as they begin to understand themselves a little bit more, they'll do less and less of this. You know, I think there'll always be a giving person who gets things done, but I think they'll learn to kind of rein that in, bring that into some kind of balance in themselves, Virgo. But do tell me if you respond to this. My feeling is you wouldn't have met this person yet. A lot of people seem to say, oh, this reminds me of so-and-so, but however it resonates, that's always the important thing. But I really appreciate input, particularly on this reading. It's a newer one for me. And it liked good karma. Appreciate it. Thank you for joining our channel. I appreciate that too. Thank you guys.